Hi, welcome back to another episode of Hailey and Nisabet. As the name suggests, my name is Hailey and I come to you from Tennessee where I live with my 3 dogs, a cat, and my fiance. So, it is episode 9, or maybe we'll call this 8.5, because I don't have a ton to show you this week, but I have some thoughts, some half-finished objects, and some accusations. And then I do have whips, but that's like it. Okay, so I guess we'll just jump into it and then we'll kind of just go from there. So I'll show you what I finished first the other day, and then I'll show you what I finished today, and then we'll go on from there. So I finished, my first half-finished object is the Follow Your Path socks by Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady. And I knit this with Scranton Stitcher yarn. I bought a sock set, nice capades, and it came with this teal 20-gram mini with it, and it's just in our sock base because it was the sock set. So yeah, this base, or this color, is, you know, like blue, and it's got all the different like speckles, red, yellow, some white, green, just all the different colors in there. And I did a contrast toe and heel turn because I forgot to do the heel flap in the contrast, which was my original plan. But I did 20 rounds for the cuff, 76 or 7 rounds for the leg, I think. And then the foot, I tried to do, depending on how I measure it, it's not always accurate, but I tried to do 11 inches or 11 1/4 inches total for the leg, and like for the, not leg, the foot to have all together. So I'll do 9 1/4 from the, you know, back of the heel flap before I start the toe. And yeah, so this has an partridge heel flap on it. It looks really neat. And I don't think I chose the best, you know, pattern. I've said that before. The best pattern to like a color yarn, but you can tell it even more when it's put on. I was at my sister's house yesterday and my nephew was trying it on. It was really cute. But I could see the pattern more so when he was wearing it. So it was little thigh-high socks for him because, you know, his foot's little because he's only 2. It was really cute. But yeah, so I did 72 stitches was the cast on. I just do the long tail cast on. I do a Kincher stitch, obviously, for the toe. I do a heel flap and gusset. And then I use a US 1.5 9-inch circular needles. And I like my chagoos. So that was my first finished object the other day. I have not casted on the next sock yet, but we'll talk about that. My next half-finished object is this Opal yarn that I bought off of Etsy from an Etsy seller in Wisconsin, I think. It turned out really neat. I have not, so I just finished this today, and I did 20 rounds for the cuff, 70 rounds for the leg, and then did 9 1/4 before I started the toe. And yeah, so I haven't woven the ends on any of this yet. This is for Daryl also, both these socks for Daryl. So I'll weave in the ends when I get to it, when I finish both socks is what I mean. But yeah, so it's funny how Opal yarn is so much heavier than the, I mean, you can't like really tell, but it's definitely heavier. It's just funny how like much larger this sock is. It was on the same needles and everything. I'm okay with keeping my needle size the same because he likes the variation and because sometimes his feet are swollen, so because he's older than I am, that doesn't really make a difference, but his feet do get swollen, and so sometimes having a different, you know, options for socks, like a larger sock is nicer for him to wear sometimes than it is to wear a more fitted sock like that. So it just depends on his mood, but he has options of what he likes to wear, so he will enjoy both these socks. He just needs, he's probably ready for me already to have them done, but that's okay. I was happy that, so those are the only 2 half finished objects that I've got this week. But I was really happy that I was able to get a sock done this week, because even though I didn't have a sock finished last week, I got those 2 done this week, and so I like to think I'm keeping with my finishing a sock every, you know, every week, like at least one sock every week. And this is what I've got left so far of the Opal yarn. And the Opal yarn is just, you know, it's, the blue is overpowering for sure. Not overpowering, but it's the main color I noticed. But it's got yellow, green, red, some white, brown, some sort of pink in there too. I don't know. It was interesting. And then this is what I've got of the Scranton Stitcher yarn. Have not weighed my yarn, so I don't really know how much I have left of either. But that is a problem for another time. If for some reason I do run out of yarn for this, I do have some Patton's Croy socks. I can, like sock yarn, I can go back and work from. But, and I haven't finished the second sock, or started the second sock of that one of the Opal yarn either. And I put both of these in the Succulent Mountain State Stitches bag, because we'll talk about it. But let me show you what so I've only worked on one other whip this week. So that's why I'm kind of saying like a mini-sode, because I focused so much on those 2 things, I didn't really work on anything else, like at all. So I've got it in my Denim and Rain mushroom bag that I've shown before with the drawstrings, which I love. And this is my Tiny Human Knits. I got the 50 gram skein option, and that's what it looks like all balled up. I balled this up, and well, I bought it up before the last video, but I have worked on this today. So this is going to be 64 stitches. This is going to be for me because I really love this color. I decided to do the cuff and the contrast color. I believe I did like 12 or something like that. I don't know. I spoke about it last time, but I've been thinking about it more and more. The last pair of socks I made for myself, I did not do a contrast anything, and both the socks weighed like 63 grams or something like that. So I'm thinking if I do like 40 or so rounds for the leg, that I should hopefully use majority of my yarn. But yeah, so that's what I've got of this so far. I'm only about 15, 16 rounds or so in. So I've got 3 and almost the 4th stripe done for the leg so far, but I really love these. So that is what I'm currently like focusing on. I did take a nap, so that was bad of me. Not really bad, but I shouldn't have took a nap. Wrong way. Because that really cut into my knitting time. I could have like knit in the hour I took a nap, but that's okay because I woke up pretty early and I worked on finishing that Opal sock. I casted that off, or you know, that half finished object today. Okay, before we hop into like plans and stuff, I'll show you my acquisitions. So my Craft Me Not mug came in, and my mystery skein from her. It's this really, so it's just a fingering weight, which I believe it's an 80-20, probably. And it's this really beautiful light purple, kind of pinkish skein. It doesn't really go, so this is my new Brewmate mug with the locking lid, which I love. But it's definitely more purple than pink because my Brewmate is a purple pink as well. But this is definitely more purple, like a lilac or something like that. But I really like it. It's pretty. So she chose well. And maybe I'll order some more from her. I don't know. We'll see. I probably should be better at stuff. I have bills to pay. And I have not been very responsible. Okay. Other acquisition, which I'll have another acquisition next week too. But this is a bag I purchased from Gingersnap Fibers. It is 80s, 90s theme with like the Lisa Frank fabric. It's got the little cheetah print and then there's her logo there. It's got a lid. This is the sock size. So this is supposed to be a small size bag. It's pretty big. It's got a box bottom and then it's got a little what do you call it? A little hook, like lever in there. But yeah, so I got this yesterday. I think I'll really enjoy it. It is just like, it's a really big bag. I was expecting it to be more so Mountain State Stitches size bag, and you can see, like, it's just taller, I guess, really. Yeah, it's just a little bit taller. That's pretty much the difference. But yeah, so it's a nice zipper bag with a green zipper on top. And I don't know, I just couldn't pass it up. I thought I'd get something 80s, 90s theme. And I would kind of look through my yarn and see what I have that will pair nicely with the bag. Or it doesn't really even have to pair nicely. It is what it is. Okay. So I showed you my half-finished objects this week. My whip that I worked on this week, and then my acquisitions. So that's pretty much all I have to show you. I thought I'd kind of talk through my plans and how I've been feeling some sort of way about casting on projects. And I don't even know if it's necessarily casting on projects. It probably is in a way. But, you know, I've been wanting to work on a garment. And it has been overwhelming trying to decide what garment I want to work on. I don't know if the garments... Why I haven't been wanting to work on any is because it feels like it is, you know, it's summertime. So you're supposed to be working with, like, you know... not necessarily wool. You're supposed to be working with plant fibers or plant adjacent fibers or whatever, you know. Because like my Cumulus tea is on the needles, right? But it's in hibernation because I just don't want to work on it right now. I think it's a combination of the needles I have are too long to work in the round for the sleeve. And the sleeve's not even that long. So, like, magic loop isn't that big of a deal. But that's one hurdle. And then I don't know if it was how, there's just, like, a wonky place, I guess, from the raglan stitch. I don't know. But I really don't like how that looks either. And I'm afraid there's going to be a hole right there. And I can't tell if it's going to be underneath my arm where it's not going to make a difference or what. And I put a lot of time in that. So that like makes me hesitant and not want to work on it. I figure it out. And then, you know, that is the 10 line yarn. So it's got the cotton, viscose, and rayon or something like that. I don't really know the exact makeup, but it's like, you know, it's a definitely a plant fiber. Like it's not like wool. It's not a woolly yarn. So it has a certain feel to it, and I just don't really a fan of it. I've been wanting to work with the Iris. I wonder if I've got it right here. I think I do. Iris yarn, or the color Iris from Craft Be Not and the cotton merino. And while this has merino in it, you can definitely tell it has cotton. And so I just don't really want to work on that. I definitely want to cast on something with it, but, which I think I've decided what I want to cast on with it. But the cotton merino, I just don't want to work with it. I've got the Knitting for Olive cotton merino, and I just don't really want to work with that either. I've got the Craft Me Not Silky Yak and the wool linen blend. I don't want to work on those. So I think I just need to reevaluate, take a step back, and think about what I want to work on that's wool based. Since it's summer, I don't have to work on a project that has that is summer fiber related. It doesn't have to be summer fiber related. That was my own preconceived, like self-imposed rule, because that's what people are doing right now. It's summertime, it's June. Today's June 2nd, it's Sunday, so it's like a lazy day for me. But I think that's my issue. And maybe how I have all of my needles and stuff laid out. Because my needles and stuff is a legit wreck. I have all of my small size needles in a bag together, and they're just all jumbled up. And it's kind of overwhelming almost. So I don't know. I feel like it's just a combination of things. So we'll see what I end up doing. But my thoughts on like my plans and goals sort of is, so I haven't casted on, the second socks yet, right? I mean, it'll definitely happen sooner or later, like sometime soon. But I'm kind of thinking about focusing on the projects that I have currently casted on and finishing those up. Because I have a lot of lingering lips. Like I have the DRK socks, the DK weight socks. So those are the DRK everyday socks by Andrea Mowrg. I've had those on the needles with the Ruby Roses yarn forever. That would be nice to at least finish up one of those. I've had this DK weight sock that I showed you a while back on the needles for a really long time. That would be nice to make some progress on. The library socks, those, I believe it's the Seafarer socks by Summerly Knits. I casted those on last week too. That'd be nice to make some progress on. So I'm thinking, and I don't know if I'll work on the Cumulus tee. We'll probably keep those to the side. But I still have that shawl, the lacy shawl that I showed you last week, the Graziella. I think it's the Graziella. Because I wanted to say Graviella because I was thinking of like the Hello Gavriella stitch markers that I had, but it's Graziella. I believe by Wool and Pine, that lacy shawl. I have the Solstice Engrain shawl, I believe is the name of it, by Sarah Opie on the needles with the Ruby and Roses yarn. I really love that knit. I need to get back to it. I just need to work on it. So I think, and I'm not gonna like stress myself about Daryl's socks. He has gotten that sock, like that pair of socks, a week or 2 or 3 ago, like not that long ago. So he's got a good rotation of socks, which we might talk about his socks. Like I might make that, like kind of throw it in an episode sometime, or maybe make an own video about it, about how his socks are wearing, because he wears one of his socks every night to bed, or when he gets home from work and takes off his work shoes and stuff. And when he washes them, so he'll wear them several times, or I don't really know how many times he decides before he throws them in his dirty clothes, but he wears them a fair amount of times, at least 3 or 4 at the very least, before he puts them in the washer. Because he does wash his clothes, like he does throw his socks in the wash with his regular clothes, and doesn't hand wash them or anything like that, which I don't think they get cleaned enough for him anyways. So might talk about how they've held up. Of course, some socks are newer, and then he wears some socks more than he does others, but there was some of the Color Idol socks. I showed you those way back. Those are really rough shape, but his Opal ones, with the 6-ply Opal ones that I showed you, you've also seen them too, they look fantastic still. So it's just a matter of the different yarn. It's interesting. to say the least. But I feel like the Yarn Bee yarn, anyways, had acrylic in it, and that probably has something to do with it. So, yeah. So I'm just going to be working on some projects that I've already casted on and focus on those and see what progress I can make. Whatever I do work on that I don't necessarily finish for the next podcast, I'll definitely put a stitch marker as to where I started, so y'all can see, not a stitch marker, a progress keeper, so y'all can see where I'm at and kind of go from there. But that's kind of like my thoughts and plans for this upcoming week, and really think about what project I want to cast on next. Garment wise, maybe I'll wait till some of my needles, like more needles, are cleared up. I know I have like a ton of sock needles, so that's not like a big of a deal, but they're just sitting there. I know they are. So it's, sorry, kind of weighing on me just a little bit. But yeah, I might try to cast something on. We'll see. I kind of really want to use, like, there's a lot of yarns I forgot I had. Like, I bought the color Cafe from Craft Me Not and some DK. I bought some Coast to Coast yarn in DK. It's like a blue color. I totally forgot I bought that too. Those should be enough to have sweater quantities. So, and you know, I bought a lot of patterns lately. I bought a lot of Nordland's patterns, and then I bought a Tory Hue pattern, some kind of blouse. I was watching a video, I can't remember the name of who I was watching or the podcast name, but I was heavily influenced by the pattern, so I did, and it was, I think she said it was a top up pattern, so it kind of was tempting to cast that on maybe. So yeah, I really don't know what this upcoming week of knitting has in store for me, but we'll see. Let's see, do we have anything? Well, I have not planted any more flowers this year other than the tubers I originally planted. Luckily, we had, like, I planted a ton of zinnias last year in the bed beside our house, and I guess some of the seeds fell in, you know, when I was taking out all of the dead zinnias at the end of the season last year, and those have come up, quite a few of those, so that's exciting. But the tubers, the dahlia tubers I planted, I also planted some peony ones, but I don't think those will bloom this year. But anyways, the dahlias are starting to bloom, so that's exciting. So that's like a life thing. Reading have been bad. I have not read really anything. And then watching wise, we finished season 2 of Evil. I've watched like a quarter of the episode of Bridgerton. It's kind of on my to-do list, but mainly I've been listening. I wasn't interested. I didn't hear about, and I wasn't interested originally in the Karen Reed trial. And I was like, you know what? I kept seeing like new, like, clickbaity videos pop up on my suggested in YouTube. So I was like, you know what? This is like, I watched a video, and the video was of different lawyers on YouTube reacting to evidence being stored in red Solo cups. I was like, what? This is weird. So it enticed me, and I watched all of Emily D. Baker's live streams of the trial so far. And if you don't know about the Karen Reed trial, it is, I'll just go, like, I won't tell you my opinion or anything like that, but it is a woman up in the Boston area of the United States. She is on trial for her boyfriend's murder. Her boyfriend was John O'Keefe, a Boston cop, and he was found on the lawn of a fellow cop's house at 6 a.m. in the middle of a snowstorm. And so she's on trial for that. and it's just wild. I mean, it's a small town area, but everybody knew everybody. So, and some, like, interesting things, like, occurred. Like, the evidence in the red Solo cups. That's not supposed to be a thing. And stuff like that. So, it's pretty interesting. If you like true crime stuff, I do recommend it for sure. Yeah. So, we'll see what this week has in store. It's a long week, unfortunately. Last week was a short week. So, that was nice. But, yeah, we're back at work for a full week until 4th of July. And then, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, maybe I'll plant some flowers. We'll see. But I definitely will work on some projects and see what we can get done there. Because I want to be productive. And it's so hard. Okay, anyways. I'm just, like, babbling at this point. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. You know, if you have any thoughts of, like, are you, like, anybody else feel that way about, like, summer knits and, like, feeling compelled to knit with summer fibers too? And does that hold you back any from, like, you know, knitting? Actually getting any knitting done? Because I overthink stuff. And that's, like, I feel like that has made me overthink. But, I don't know. I might go in my yarn room, which is over this way. And my craft room, pantry area. And see what is up there that I might want to cast on. Like, use yarn-wise. And then let the yarn, like, pick the yarn and then pick a pattern from there. Instead of trying to pick a pattern and then pick a yarn. Might be an idea. But I don't know. I don't know if I actually will or not. We'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching and thanks for commenting if you want to. If you have any videos like you want me to watch, you know, tell me about it. Because I love to watch YouTube. I listen and pretty much listen to YouTube videos all day long. So I hope y'all have a good week. A good, happy beginning of June. And summer sock camp is underway. I am participating, obviously, because socks are pretty much my main focus right now. So, we'll see. But anyways, y'all have a great Sunday. Bye.